over here at the FedEx Freight Hub, and you know what that means. I'm picking up my machines right now, and I got this big rental truck right here. The only problem is they didn't have any more with lift gates, and they haven't had any for months really, because when I moved they didn't have any trucks with lift gates. So I'm gonna have to get creative, get these machines off of here. One of the machines weighs like 1,000 pounds, and the other one I think is like 500 or 600. So yeah, this is gonna be fairly interesting to say the least. Forgive my audio, I don't have my mic on right now, but I've got to try to get this stuff out now, and I'm pretty much by myself. So there is a ramp right here that I'm thinking I can slide some of this stuff down, but I don't even know if I can move it, honestly. The guy was working on his car over there, I couldn't fit. So I accidentally hit this and it smashed it with the truck. But it broke like real easy. I think it's dead, that piece. It's gonna be awkward, just push it toward me.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Got it? Ready?
Yeah, let it go.
What do you mean?
Just afraid, like, the weight. Come on this side real quick. I don't know, I'm thinking right now I need to put like 2 ladders going down the side to kind of balance it, because I'm telling you, this thing starts going, I'm not strong enough to pull that back. There's no way. I'm willing to sacrifice these extension ladders. And then I can let this rest. I feel better about it now, a lot better. Stay out of the way. I don't know if I should be standing here. Got it rigged up with 2 ladders. This is 1,100 pounds.
That's the big one. Getting to that pivot point, it's going to want to come forward. It's nice and slow.
All right guys, it has been a couple days now since we unloaded these machines here, and I gotta admit to you, I got a little bit of a headache because I just spent the last 2 days, pretty much 2 full days, going through this owner's manual and trying to figure these things out and put them together. A lot of this is a little bit difficult to understand. It says right on here it's a translation of the original instructions. It's almost like some of it was typed into Google Translate and spit out from Italian to English. But yeah, I've now got these machines understood. I've become acquainted with them, and I want to talk to you guys about what we got going on here. So this video could probably be an hour long. I'm going to try to give you guys just a general overview of what we got going on here. So I'm going to get right to the point. This is our Scm Minimax Lab 300P. It's a combination machine, and the 300P, that indicates the size of the cutter head on the joiner and planer. It's the same cutter head. You'll see that shortly, but that's 300 millimeters. So everything here is in millimeters, and 300 millimeters is just shy of 12 inches. This is a table saw. It's a shaper and a joiner planer combo, like I just mentioned. It's a 4-function machine, all in one, with a footprint of about 3 foot by 5 foot. That changes a little bit with the sliding table saw feature, which I'll show you guys here in a minute, because this, you need some room to move this around. But one of the biggest benefits of this is we have limited space here in this 2-car garage, and I didn't want a dedicated machine for every task that we want to complete here. This is a very good space-saving option. And I just want to mention too, these machines here were not given to me. I didn't get a discount on them or anything. I bought these outright just as a normal customer. So this is not sponsored by anyone. Yeah, let's talk about the combination machine. I'm gonna try to go through this quick because I just read this and I want to tell you everything that I know about it. But if I did that, we'd literally be here for hours. So let's talk about this. This is a European style sliding table saw. This is not your typical American style table saw, typical cabinet saw that we're used to seeing here in the States. This is European slider, meaning that it slides. So there's some new terminology I had to learn, and I'll tell you guys what that is. So this big articulating arm out here, you probably noticed that. That supports what they call the square, and then that square attaches to the wagon, which is the part of the table saw that actually slides. And from these 2 knobs, the square can be moved anywhere on the wagon. So very customizable. You can do a lot of really interesting functions with this. So the wagon is this piece right here, and if I release this little lock at the back, there's one also at the front, you'll see the wagon release, and then the table saw will hit a stop right there. So that's as far as it goes that way. They call this the stroke of the saw, and you can see how that articulating arm kind of follows the whole wagon, and then it'll come back here. I don't have this situated exactly where I want it. We just got these here. I think this is a good spot for it, but this is getting a little too close for comfort to the bandsaw. So we're gonna have to mess around and figure out where we want these. But this has about a 5-foot stroke from the back of the wagon to the front of the blade. So you could cross cut 4x8 sheets of plywood, but you can't rip cut that with the wagon on this particular machine using the sliding function. You could do it if you could lock that in there, take this fence off, you now have support out here, and then they have all these contraptions. So this will be another wagon support back here, and with this locked in, all this does is just this little track right here just slides into the T-track, just like the square up there. And if you lock that in, you put those supports on, well, you basically have an American style table saw. You use it just pushing it through like a standard table saw, or you could use the sliding function and have yourself a big sled right here. So this is one of the fences they give you. It extends, you can loosen this. You still have support for your material out here. And then it also comes with multiple stop blocks. This is one of them, this is another one. There's a lot of things, guys, I'm not gonna go over in this video. I've got a lot of jigs and contraptions that this thing comes with, but I'll probably see myself just using this fence and the slider for most of everything, and this stop block, at least for right now. I'll probably come up with more ideas, but there's clamps, stuff like that slide into these tracks. So this you know, you can adjust this. It can hold your workpiece with this cam clamp right there. And then if you want to get it out of the way, you just, you know, you could put this anywhere or you could just not have it on there at all. But that's pretty cool because it can hold pressure right there near the blade while your hands are over here. And just, they kind of thought of everything. They thought of a lot of safety features, like all around the machine, you'll see these red buttons, and what these are, they're just emergency shut-off. You can hit this, or it's actually at the perfect height where you can just hit it with your knee or whatever. This fence right here is cool. It's got this miter indicator right here, a degree indicator, I guess I should say, and you can adjust the fence to whatever degree you want. There's just a little knob under here. You can just reach through the square here, a little spring-loaded pivot here, so it's always going to be at the right angle. So the only knob you have to worry about is this one under here. You loosen that, you bring it back, it's back to zero. You don't even have to think about it. This is one of the table saw fences that you can use. And one cool thing about this, you can loosen this fence and pull it back. So you can use it to just index cuts. And what I mean by that is like a stop block. So you can bring the wagon back over here. Say this is my material. I could push it up against this and then push it up against the blade. And now I have a safe cut, an indexed cut, where there's no chance of kickback really. The material is not in between the fence. It's not gonna pinch it or anything like that. You could really, the sky's the limit with this. It's kind of your creativity on what you could do with it. And then you could just slide it back up and use it like a standard fence. I have it pushed back right here right now because I've got this shaper head, you know, in the way for this demonstration, but this will actually slide up pretty far up here, and then you can use it just like a normal table saw fence. But if you guys have any questions, definitely leave it down below because I could probably give you an answer. I just read this whole book. So the shaper, it's like a router on steroids, and it's able to perform really cool functions like building doors, making stuff for windows, making cope and stick joints on really big material, like what I want to do at this house. And remember, when I first set this place up, I don't know if you guys remember what I said. The purpose of this wood shop is not to kind of expand our, you know, molding installation business, although that might happen. The purpose of this wood shop is to work on the house that it's attached to. We're gonna have a combination machine, and it's really cool. I'm really excited to share it with you. So nothing has really changed. That's still the whole purpose of this wood shop, is to make really cool stuff and learn millwork right here in my garage and practice it on my own house. So that's still the goal. So this whole head right here, when you're not using it, this will just thread off. There's threaded inserts on this cast tabletop, and then this whole assembly will come off, and then I can just set this to the side. With this, we see our spindle, and we see these rings. These rings right here, they just come out for different size cutter heads. So those will just drop back in there. And then to raise up the spindle, I can just take this knob that I just took off the table saw bevel, and then I can raise this up. And as that spindle comes up, you can just see the different spacers. You can see that top nut that holds the spacers on, and it keeps pressure on the cutters. So we'll go ahead and raise this thing all the way up. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about. Let's talk about this side over here now. Here we are at the joiner. You can see the exposed cutter head. I do have a guard right here, which I am going to use. I'm either gonna use this one or I'm gonna get another one. I might get the bridge guard. This is like a spring guard. So you push something through and then it comes back to cover it up. But the joiner, pretty standard to any other joiner. You're just gonna push boards across it and it's gonna flatten the edges for you. So we'll go ahead and take this off and we'll set this aside. So to access the planar function, you just raise up these two tables here. And once those are raised up, there's a little safety feature where they won't fall on you or anything. So if you try to close this, there's a little bypass right here that you have to physically do to get it to go back flat. So again, safety, and then you lift up this this dust port, you're ready to use the planer. It's got this knob right here that you can raise and lower to figure out your thicknesses. You can plane really thick boards. You can see this goes all the way to like 9 inches. And like I mentioned earlier, it's about 12 inches wide for the material that could fit through here. So yeah, there's the thickness planer. I could see the question of like, well, I don't want to have to switch. It's going to take a long time to switch from function to function. I mean, it's going to take more time than if you just already had these individual machines, but the lost time equals the space saved. This is a little trade-off there. That's the way I see it. So yeah, that's the 4-function Scm Minimax Lab 300p with the capability of a 5th function. You can actually use this same cam right here and attach a mortiser to this side, and it comes with the handle, and you can have a mortiser. I don't think we'll do that. I think if I did anything like that, I might just get a hollow chisel mortiser if I even ever need that. But I'm more interested in Matthias Wandell's panel router because they make it in extruded aluminum now and sell it, and it's pretty cool. So I might get a panel router maybe and put it up here on this table. I don't know. So there's the combination unit. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this performs in conjunction with the Harvey. It's pretty cool too how they both painted them this kind of off-white color. Everything kind of matches. So this matches with that, and then this matches with this. And I forgot to mention to you guys one thing real quick on this. This little bar right here with these 2 wheels is just a mobility bar where I could slide this in to a little slot right there, and then I can push this 1,100 pound machine anywhere in the shop. So I don't think we'll really be moving it a lot, but you can see just how easy this thing can be adjusted and moved out of the way. Pretty crazy. So this thing right here too is not level. You can see the wagon wants to keep falling this way. Same problem I had with the miter station. I could probably find a semi-permanent place for this and then level it up and put some kind of shims under there, because I really don't want it to be at the slope of the garage. I don't like that. So we probably will level that up eventually, but I just like that we're able to move it around. So I should have got a mobility base for this. This is the bandsaw. Obviously this will be the last thing we talk about. Yeah, I don't know if I want to keep this right here because I really like this here and this kind of gets in the way, but in my mind I really want it here because it's kind of a waste of space. I think we might be able to scooch the combo machine a little bit closer to the miter station and be able to fit this here and still have that there, because right now it's crazy how all this is on one bay of a 2-car garage, and really I don't think there's a whole lot more we need. The other things I want to get aren't really necessary, like the panel router. Like, you don't necessarily need that, but it's just a fun thing to have. So I don't know, we'll figure that out. But let's talk real quick about the bandsaw. This is our other machine that came in that we have been waiting for so long. Out of all that craziness of getting these things here and unloading them, this was the only damage I had. I messed up my pinstripe right here, which I don't really care. It doesn't affect the functionality of the machine. So we didn't damage that one at all, and this one was good. Just that little scuff right there of that pinstripe. So this is a Formula S440P. It's a 440 millimeter flywheel, and I'll show you guys that right now. It has this little door right here. This opens up and you can access the inside of the bandsaw. So 440 millimeter flywheel, the flywheel up here. Then we've got the kind of the drive wheel down here. This is connected to the motor, which is on the other side. So this little foot pedal here is another safety integration. If you get into trouble at the bandsaw while you're working, you just step on this pedal right here, and you can see there's a little electric switch right here. When you step on the pedal, there's a little button that releases and it cuts power to the machine completely. Other button here You can hit this one if you can reach it, and then there's also this one here. So they kind of thought of everything as far as emergency shutoff, and then this is the power button to turn it on. So that's a look at the inside, what's under the hood. I can close this thing back up. Key stores back here, and obviously you can see this is a pretty good sized bandsaw. I think it's going to be kind of overkill for anything we would ever need, but I wanted to have that capability to do bigger stuff on the bandsaw. So yeah, it's pretty good size. It's taller than me. It takes a 155-inch blade, which I already have on order. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, while we had the door open, this is just a belt tensioner right here. And then there's also I guess it'd be called a camber adjustment on the back here to get the blade lined up. Just a couple more knobs to talk about. But yeah, you can see the guard right here is adjustable. I can lower this guard for cutting smaller pieces, or if I'm going to be doing some milling and actually, cut in some pretty big lumber, I can raise this thing up pretty high. So the capabilities for this thing to make like a veneer or something like that, like I want to do in my laundry room in there to wrap those rafters, I can accomplish it with this machine. So pretty cool. The fence also is really smooth. That slides back and forth. This is the table. I tilt to 45 degrees. I don't really see like me using this tilting table a lot, but maybe, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I know this video is a little bit long. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you want to know anything about these machines, I'll try to give you the most information that I can. Again, this is not a sponsored video. I have no affiliation with them at all, like whatsoever. They don't even know who I am. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and the next videos we'll be hooking these up and getting some use out of them. So yeah, we'll see you then.